Welcome to the Real Board Loft. We got Harley Ingleby with us here today. Harley, welcome.
Thank you.
And we are talking about the Harley Ingleby mid-6 in Thunderbolt construction. I actually have a 7.6 mid-6 in black construction. Harley has a 7.10 mid-6 in red construction. Not here with us today is the ever popular 7.0 mid-6. And Harley, let's jump into the mid-6 design and some secrets behind the sizing, which sizes are for who. Yeah, let's jump into it. Channel bottom sexiness.
Yeah, no, this has definitely been a very popular board of ours, especially in the last few years. It's really a really good all-round surfboard. I think at a first glance, people see the 6-channel and the pintail and probably assume it's like a good wave board only, but it'll handle, waist chest high waves, no problem. It's a lot looser than it looks. It's like what I like about performance longboards. You can ride them in this size surf and then they're going to get you into waves, and the longer rails they're going to handle as much of a wave as you're game to kind of paddle into, really. So yeah, just a very, very versatile surfboard. The channels that we put in, they're a little bit belly channel-ish. The side channels are a little deeper and come out the rail, but people will notice that the middle channels really taper off at the pod, and that was by design. That we wanted it, particularly in those weaker waves or windier waves, if you need to change your line, they're not so gnarly and cut in deep that you can break your line, you don't get stuck in any tracks.
Yep.
But they're in there enough that when you get some surf and you push hard and you get them in an arc, you get some feedback and they push back, and it's a really, really good feeling. I often push people, like longboarders stepping down the 710, it's just like, to me, it just feels like the best HP I've ever owned, but you just don't walk it and nose ride it. But if off the tail, it's like a really comparable paddle feeling, and like the way it feels in an arc feels like a HP, but there's just a lot less surfboard, a lot less swing weight. Having the channels, it's just a really special feeling if you're a performance longboarder kind of feel. The 7.6 is actually the only one that's not really a standard direct scale from the 7.0 and up. Outline wise and rocker wise, it's a direct scale, but we put a bigger rail on this board, so we made it a little bit of a higher volume feel for its length.
So a little bit beefier on the rail.
A little bit beefier in the rail for its
not
size.
As much foil.
Yeah, so if you went from the 7.0 to the 7.6 to the 7.10, it's not like the rail grew incrementally as it went up. I'd imagine that the rail size on these two are probably pretty similar.
Okay.
It's just that that's in a shorter board, so it feels like more volume in a shorter distance, just for people who just need that bit more foam for whatever reason it is. And then yeah, the 7.0's like, obviously for a few years up until this point, that was the shortest of the mid-6s we had, and yeah, it's been an absolute mind blower for, I think, a lot of people.
yeah. I mean, and even like the 710 is kind of like a dark horse. Like,
yeah, it is.
Same
with the 8.0 Mo. It's very much a dark horse.
People just write it off. They're like, oh, that's an old guy's board, or that's like, that's a really big one, but I really want the 7.0, and we just had an incredible run of surf here last September, like August, September, October. We had about 6 weeks.
Yeah.
This place was on as good as it can get for 7 days a week for 6 weeks. And Zach Johnson, who runs our warehouse, ships out all the boards that we sell. He had a 710 mid-6, and he was going, straight vertical on every turn and just ripping the thing. It was really, really impressive.
Like I said, like the best HP you've ever ridden.
yeah, really, really cool to watch. And then, the 7.6s that we've sold, 7.0s, same feedback as well. People just love them. Let's talk about construction and how it applies, or lamination as you like to call it, and how it applies to the mid-6 model, black lamination and red lamination.
Being an all-rounder in my quiver, I would generally ride the red more than the black.
Okay.
But I've done some trips to Fiji and some other places, and I've taken a black construction. And in super juicy waves, the black definitely has that extra bit of pushback and that stiffer flex. It really goes really quickly, and it doesn't get affected by the chop quite so much.
Okay.
And again, these handle chop no problem in the red, but just when you're going that fast on that big of a wave, having something that feels a little beefier, like why guys glass up their polys.
Yeah,
it's kind of got that effect. The black's really, for me, it's for juicier conditions. Again, it can be ridden in small surf, and I would just tell people, depending, if you're buying a mid-6 to be your step up and travel board, and you really want it to never fail, I'd say black will probably be pretty good for you, mate. You'll enjoy that. But if it's going to be more of an everyday board and you kind of want it to cover a lot of bases in the quiver, I think the red's going to be prime for most people.
All right, and then fin setup. All the mid-6s come with a 5-fin FCS2.
Yeah.
What are you riding and recommending for fins?
XXL quad set with FCS. Where Billy's situated the fins and where the curves are and everything, I find it's got all the looseness still that it needs, and just having that much fin in that board with the channels, it's got all the drive you would ever want. Lighter guys reach out and they say, oh, I just want to ride as a thruster and stuff, and I probably push people towards MFs or large AMs or something like that if they're going to ride it as a thruster. I now have my large mid set as well, which is a large reactor tri-set with medium rears as a tri-quad. So that works obviously super good. But for me, these bigger size mid-6s, the XXL quad set is the way to go.
And that's regardless of the surfer weight, right?
Totally.
Okay,
Absolutely.
so these boards, like we were talking about those fins, pairing them with your boards, like the board's designed for that XXL fin.
Yeah.
For the most part, regardless of the surfer weight.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
It's it's with the size of the board and where we put the fins and the cluster size, length and everything like that. It's very much designed for those bigger fins.
Okay. And what about the 7.0? Like, what are you putting most people on with the 7.0?
7.0, I was recommending people more to a large quad set. So that just goes the tipping point the other way. So my new tri-quad, absolutely, that is the best fin set. I've tried all combinations through FCS's range, and I kept coming back to the reactors in the side with the Performer medium rears. And yeah, so I was very lucky that I was able to pair that up as a tri-quad set, and brand it up to suit these boards. It's a really good set. But I always recommend like a medium quad rear, an 80-20 foiled medium quad rear.
Okay.
Generally in the 7.0, and then whatever your favourite flat foil sides will work really well. But again, I just think the foil, the outline template type, everything that template absolutely suits this board the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, easiest is just get your fin set because you know
That's right.
You know it's going to work.
Yeah, that's definitely what most of the R&D's been done around using that fin set for sure.
All right, cool. Awesome, Harley. Well, thank you so much for sharing your feedback on the mid-6.
No worries.
Any of you out there have any questions on the Harley Ingleby mid-6s or would like to order one, you can always reach us at the shop, 252-987-6000, or look us up online, realwatersports.com/surfing. Thanks for tuning in.